we're here with George Sakaridis, and you did the film "Are Her Digits Worth It?" So, how did you come up with this film, this idea?
Well, I'm going to give you like the background a little bit. So, my good friend Randy Woodbury, who's the writer on this, and we've known each other since college, and we've done a little bit of film before together. And we have a podcast called Cheers Weekly. We follow the TV show Cheers.
I just met Norm. I just met what's his face? Who played Norm?
George Wendt.
George Wendt. Yeah. So we just met him, and I was talking to him about how Cheers is the perfect pilot, and he was so really into it. So I was like,
awesome. Yeah, it's a great show. We're on I don't know, episode 160-ish out of 275. So it's a long haul, but yeah, we've enjoyed that. But we've been talking a lot recent years, and so we were talking about doing something, and Randy pitched a number of short ideas, and this was one of them. I think is how we landed on it. And it's kind of, I like to do comedy. The stuff I've directed and produced, mostly, maybe all of it, is comedy, and even as an actor, I like comedy. So this really was great. It was kind of a mix of really aesthetically pleasing club shots with kind of some gross shots too. I don't know when this will be. I don't want to give anything away. But that's kind of how. So this is the brainchild of Randy Woodbury, and then I kind of put my own stamp on it as the director.
Oh, nice. And did you guys? I mean, it is funny, but it's also dramatic and really cool shots and everything like that. So, did you what kind of camera did you use for that? It was pretty. Camera, right?
It was I believe it was a Red Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know if it was the up. So I have the cinematographer, Sean O'Connell, I've known him for a number of years, and he's great, and we were lucky to get him for this.
Did you use just a bunch of different types of lenses and stuff? Because it was really.
There's a few different lenses used. He's really good with, I think, filters and lighting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we shot that actually in a club in Brookings, South Dakota, as crazy as that sounds, but I wanted to get a more urban feel, and it's hard to find that here. So we really worked with the blue light, and yeah, he was great with the filters and the lighting. But he made that happen as far as the look. We kind of gave him the look we wanted, and he made it happen.
So how is the film seen out by you?
Oh, could you repeat that?
How is the film seen out by you there in South Dakota?
In general, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of hit and miss. We have kind of a dedicated group of filmmakers, both in Brookings and Sioux Falls, and then out west in the Black Hills, which is beautiful, and they kind of have their own thing going there. So there's a solid kind of you'll see a feature every few years. Mostly shorts, a lot of horror, because that's cheap to make and people kind of flock to that, so that's a nice niche. But it's kind of, I'd say it's hit and miss. I'm from Chicago originally, and so it was definitely a different scene there. But the advantage here is you really get to know everybody in the community, so who you can trust, who you can go to, and so it's a tight-knit group of filmmakers.
It seems like to be growing everywhere. I mean, look at Atlanta right now, and down in Georgia and Texas. So it's not just like Hollywood anymore. And Jersey's coming back to Jersey because they dropped a lot of the taxes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, a lot of it is the taxes and the rebates, and some of it is, I think, just the cost of equipment has gone down so much the last 20 years.
Yeah.
That it's amazing what you can do. I mean, we had a nice camera for this, but you can get a pretty cheap camera and do some really amazing things with it.
Now, you said you teach. How was teaching during this time period? Because it was insane for me. So I thought.
Yeah, so I teach at South Dakota State University. I actually teach religion and philosophy. It was different. We did stay in the classroom the whole year, and so we kind of cohorted our classes where we divided them up, where only like a third of the class met one day a week, and then the rest was online. And then we had to wear masks. Everyone was masked, me and the students. And we just, I will say this, you walk into a classroom sometimes and it can be filthy because you have like tons of people using it before you. it was the cleanest classrooms I've had. They were regularly cleaning them, but it went pretty smoothly. I don't think very many people got sick. It was a good year. I mean, it helps that we're in South Dakota, so there's not like 5 million people, in a 2-mile radius.
That's kind of the same thing we did in New Jersey too, but it was hard teaching film with the kids. But nowadays they all had cell phones. A lot of them were home, so like I was in school all day, every day. But like half the kids are home. Some of them are in school, but not that many. It was like kind of by choice. But everyone pretty much took the cameras from their phone and used that for like assignments and things.
Awesome.
So it's amazing how you can do that now. But like before, when we were like, no, you can't use phones in class ever, ever. And now it's like, use your phone. So.
Yeah, I mean, and the shots you can get with phones are amazing because they're so portable, and the technology is getting so good.
Absolutely. So with your film, is this the first festival back that it's playing in that is not online, or were you able to see it at any festivals before all this happened?
No, this will be the first in-person festival. So we've already shown at one other festival, but it ended up being online this year. Okay. That was at the Black Hills Film Festival here in South Dakota. And they did a great job with the online, I think, some festivals, but I mean, I'm really excited to see this in person with an audience. And I mean, that's how film festivals really should be.
Yeah.
So no, you guys are getting the live premiere.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're excited. We did sort of like we do it twice a year here for the Brightside, and we had one that was supposed to be in August. Obviously, it was supposed to be in August, and we were going to do it online, but we're debating. So all of a sudden, it was March, and we're like, I think we should do this online. And then it was May, and it's like, well, like all of a sudden they're like, well, okay, you guys can have stuff, and we're like, all right. So we did it online and there, and a good number of people did show up. It wasn't crazy. Like, oh my gosh, it's usually crazy at this place, but it was like a nice, everyone was comfortable and away from each other, and it was kind of nice. So I was like, yeah, this is kind of nice. We can do this again in August. So we're all excited to have all these films back in August. But it's funny because a lot of these films, I mean, you had your film. Did you film it at all during that time period, or was it done in editing?
No, it was in editing. So we filmed it like August of 2019. Yeah. And it was basically in editing for, I think, about a year.
Yeah. Seems like it takes a lot to edit that too.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. And I mean, yeah, there was so much going on with COVID. I think that affected our editor and others. And I'm so glad we got this shot before COVID hit, because especially since we have a number of extras, and that would have been a hassle.
Yeah, it wouldn't be easy at all. And like a lot of the films that we're getting right now for this one is like, and you had to be kind of lenient on it. It's like us doing a movie right here. Right?
Yeah,
like, 2 people talking and then 2 other people coming on, and so there was a lot of that. So
I've seen a number of those and some online viewings. Yeah,
I'll tell you, after this festival, I'm done with those movies. It's like let it go last time, this time, and it's like, all right, you can start filming now. Come on.
Yeah, no COVID homestay submissions, but yeah, there's tons of those. Although maybe that helped filmmakers in necessity is the mother of invention, so it forces some creativity that might not have been there otherwise. But yeah, I love seeing beautiful big sets with lots of people, and in the indie film that's tough, just even non-COVID times, just getting the right people in the space, but now it's really hard. So we're excited about this showing, and hopefully it's a great turnout. I think people are probably itching to get out and see films and do things. There's less festivals, I think, in the summer. There's kind of this rotation to the way this is actually really nice. I mean, being New York, New Jersey in the summer, partying at the festival, that's not a bad way to spend your weekend.
And everybody goes down to the Jersey Shore during the summer, so it's like empty in Jersey City. So
okay.
There were summers when I was younger in like Hoboken, New Jersey in the summer, and it was dead, like dead. And so then that's kind of how we came up with that. Like, oh well, let's bring everyone back. And
awesome. Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you guys. I mean, 13 years with a festival is no mean
Well, not
feat.
13, but like maybe like 6 or 7 because it was two a year.
Oh, that's true. But still,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, those first few years, if you get out of that,
Mhm.
it's competitive. So that's great. It's a
Yeah.
testament that you got something going there.
Yeah, we do, and we just have a lot of fun with it, and it just keeps on going. So,
Awesome.
it's funny you won't even realize like who's gonna like just show up one day, like not even have films in it, like because we have a lot of guys from the Soprano movies
Mhm.
shows and stuff, and like there'll be a guy, and I remember there was a guy in the audience sitting there, and the guy goes, "Is that guy in Sopranos?" I'm like, "Yeah," and like, "Does he have a movie in or something?" No, he just came to just came
That's
because he
awesome.
lives down the road, so he's like, go to a festival. They do it all the time.
The thing I've learned about actors, and I'm an actor too, is like actors want to work and they love the scene
Yeah.
too. I think we get this view, like we see somebody on TV and they're like, well, they're kind of, they're living this Hollywood life or something. But
Most are
most
not.
of them are looking to work and connect and do all the things that all of us are doing. So that's great. I mean, that's great to have that.
Yeah, and then it's funny because it's all like the Jersey guys that we all know anyway. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we know that guy. He's always around. So,
I like it. I mean, I think it's good to have that local flavor. That's awesome. And each festival kind of has, I think, that flavor because of the regional aspects. And I'm anxious to see kind of what kind of films you get and what you're doing. And we'll definitely keep you guys in mind for future submissions too.
yeah, we already got a ton already for the next March one already. I'm like,
Wow.
what are we gonna do? Just more days, more days. We just add on
Yeah.
more days.
All right.
I don't mind doing that if we can, right? We used to sometimes we did like a opening Friday night. We'd have like a set, or we'd honor somebody, and we'd have a movie, and we give an award and have this opening Friday night party,
Mhm.
and then all day Saturday and all day Sunday films. But it's just been a little tough lately, obviously. So we're trying to work back to that. So we had last time we just did it one day Sunday, and now we're doing Saturday Sunday, and then maybe in March we'll do Friday Saturday Sunday and get back to it all.
All right. It's like, we're just increasing our lifting reps kind of, you got to get strong.
We
That's
can't
good.
grow to different places because it's in the Brightside, so we just expand the days.
Exactly. That's great. I mean, it sounds fun. Like I said, I mean, I'll have to make a decision really soon here
Yeah, it's
but
coming up.
I'd really like to make it out there.
Yeah, yeah. Is everybody from the film, acting wise and production, all from your area?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, or at least within, let's say 100, 150 miles.
Yeah.
So like our lead actor, actually, he's moved down to Atlanta to kind of
Oh.
start his career there. As you mentioned Atlanta. That's
Yeah.
the
Some people
industry.
are doing that here. They're just packing up and going down there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of money that went into Atlanta. I think there's a Netflix studio down there now. I mean, it's wild. So yeah, he actually moved there. I think a few months after the film, and I wish him the best of luck. I think he did a great job for us. And but yeah, most people are from kind of South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, right? Because we're right in that corner. So
How long did it take you to film that?
we did it over 2 weekends, but we actually just had 2 long days. So
Yeah.
the club is closed on Sundays. So
No.
we just took like all day Sunday one week and then all day Sunday the next week.
Oh, that's great.
And the pizza parlor, I don't want to give away too much here.
I don't want to give that away, but I'll tell you what, that is like we're New York, New Jersey. That's all. I worked in a pizza place for years, and that
Awesome.
and things like that, or that kind of thing with the pizza stuff, all the time.
Yeah, that was, and actually that was a great location. The owner, I just kind of got it out of the blue. I just approached him cold, and he was great about it. But that was right across the street from the club, so it was an easy film. And yeah, we just had basically probably two 12 to 14-hour days. We just had 2 really long days, something like that. And typically I try, like for shorts, we want it in 1 or 2 days, just because.
Yeah.
Like most of the people doing this are not professionals, so they have to fit in their schedules and such. So
Those are long days, though. Those are like 2 long days.
Those are 2 long days. They are. So yeah, I mean, we had to. Yeah, we were getting late into the night, and I won't give away, but some of the scenes you can see we needed dark for it. So
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we have a pretty good community here, and I've kind of rooted out with so the art director, she was a co-producer. She found some of the talent for this, and kind of rooted out the gems that we found. But I was really happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, it came out really good. And excited for you guys to show it. And what's next for it? What's the next festival?
Well, we're waiting actually on festivals now. So like we've kind of been through the first grouping, and now we're waiting on the next grouping for like the stuff coming out in the fall. So we're gonna see. Yeah, but we don't. So actually, we don't know. I have a guess where our next one will be, but we haven't gotten official word on that one. So, but yeah, we're anxious to see it, and then I've got some other projects I'm working on, and hopefully we'll get another film.
Were you writing during all this, or do you have anything set to film, or are you filming already?
Yeah, I've been doing some writing, and I have some projects that I'm working on personally as a writer mainly. But yeah, we'll see where things go. But no, I don't have like the next short ready to pop here. No. But one great thing about South Dakota is you can get things made fairly cheaply.
That's good.
I mean, this one had a higher budget than I'm used to around here. But yeah, you can it's not like LA where you're going to pay $1,000 a day for your location or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, and especially with like short films, you're like, can I use this for free?
Yeah.
Trying to make that's what we do in Jersey. We're like, you don't need this today? Can we use it?
Like, we'll give your name. We'll put your name in the credits. We'll get you some advertisement.
You just got to find the people that really like film and like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. And indie film has that. I think that energy. You have to get those people. But yeah, it's great to hear that like the film scene is even kind of growing in the area you're in, which already had a great film scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people are hungry because of COVID. People are hungry to connect with other people and see some new stuff. I might have, we're gonna have to get you on Cheers Weekly, because like that's the kind of stuff that's just fun to talk through and get on. So awesome. But yeah, honestly, I might try and make it out. I really enjoyed talking with you. It'd be fun to hang out for a weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. All right.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
So we're here with Robert Cuniff, Mr. Actor this time around, and the film is Vagary. But you got films all over the place, so sometimes I was like, which one is it?
Well, this one's unique. It was the first time that we, Larry Rosen actually approached me and said, "Hey, let's produce a film together." Oh. So this is a combination.
So you did produce it too, okay?
Yeah. And this is a combination of it's a co-production between my company and my partners, which is New Media Comedy, and Larry's Happy Smile Films.
Yeah.
And we kind of split the labor. Larry, was he co-wrote it, and I'm not. Michel Fatima was the co-writer, and I don't think I've met that person.
No.
I don't know if you know him. No. But it was a pretty nice little tight script that wound up being 6 minutes. He was the director, and the cinematographer, Alexandra Faye, how do you pronounce her name? Sadagian?
That's pretty much what I would probably say around someone.
He was the only other crew member, and she was the AD and everything else.
And you were able to do it during the COVID times, right?
Yeah, this was filmed during the height of COVID shutdown.
Yeah,
it was last summer, basically. Towards the end of last.
Yeah, it opened up a little bit, like last summer, right? Like there was time where, maybe we could get a film in here and do this, and then it got crazy again, like September,
right? I as an actor, I didn't work because of COVID from like March till October.
Yeah,
it's not like there's a lot has been a
No,
lot.
it wasn't. There wasn't. No.
Everybody had to be comfortable. It was before vaccinations.
Yeah,
became available for everybody, so we all had to be comfortable. There were only 4 of us in the room. It's a small movie.
Yeah.
And then my partner John Rigoris, who's a fantastic editor. Larry gave him the footage. He edited it together. So it really is kind of a co-production, and I think it came out great. Yeah. I'm real happy that it's nominated for a bunch of awards at Brightside. Yeah.
It's a nice small film, and it's great that you got it in during that time, because a lot of those films that I was talking to some people, we were getting films that were kind of like me and you right now talking,
Oh yeah, I
that's
got
all you could do for the most part, right?
Well, you had some students, and they submitted to my last festival, and a lot of them are
like
kind of
like
interviews, Zooms, and I've seen
yeah,
other ones from even all over the world
yeah.
that are like that.
People have to
And
just be creative and different. Like, let's still do something, but
well, there's only two people in the film, me and my the female lead.
that's true. So it's cool how you can pull that off and be
And
able
I
to.
actually I met her at my acting class, at an acting class I was taking locally, and so I've already been in the room with her,
Yeah.
although we were wearing masks in class.
Mhm.
And I think she worked out very well. Vanessa Vega did a really good job as the female lead in that. And it's not like I hadn't been hanging out with Alexandra and Larry, but you know, whenever I worked, I wound up taking 3 COVID tests the day before I
Oh
worked.
yeah.
So I knew I wasn't infected. But a lot of the most successful, well, one thing I've noticed running my own festival is I got way fewer entries than I did
Oh
than
yeah.
this time last year.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
and some of the best films, if you have like a quarantine a division or whatever, some of the best ones were like one person films. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
So
saw
creative,
really
right?
good
It's so
ones.
creative how they
I
can
saw
pull that off.
some really, really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen bad ones too, but there are people that if they put their creativity to work can manage to produce really good stuff.
Well, like even like you said, you had two people in this, and it worked the way that you were able to do it, and you could do it during those times, just the
Yeah.
way it was filmed, and it worked out. So, um, did you guys particularly pick that for the just two actors and be able to do it, or that was
I'm
just good timing?
I'm not 100% sure. Larry had the script. I don't know how long he'd had it for,
Mhm. Yeah.
and it was his idea. He said, "A, I want to let's co-produce something, and then maybe later, B, I have a script that's only two people, which
Mhm.
is doable."
Yeah.
Before I said we filmed it in the summer. That's absolutely crazy. We filmed it in the winter because
No.
there's snow in one of the scenes. I'm gonna guess we filmed it in December or January, actually.
Well, everything was just all mushed together anyway. It didn't
Right,
matter what day it
right,
was during COVID, right?
right. Yeah, well, I mean, it's seasonless as far as, could happen at any
Okay,
time,
anytime,
but,
right? Yeah, absolutely. So, how did you go about your character there? How did you get into that? Different. You're different and crazy and weird and different, and you don't know. And
it's different for me for a lot of the stuff that I've been in. I mean, I typically play a lot of cops or detectives, and
more comedy too, right? Because
and I also do, yeah. When I'm doing dramatic things, or comedy, it's a cop or a detective or that kind of character. And then the other stuff I do is just pure comedic acting. But we were filming our studio. We were filming our own pilot. We were developing some pilots for the DC universe, which is now moved over to HBO Max, and they're basically dramas with comedy injected, maybe a little bit black comedy. And I was playing a role in one of those, which was a similar role to this guy. And I 3 people came up to me after my scene, which is going to be cut out of the pilot anyway. But they said, "Wow, you do creepy really well," which
which is
I
true. It's
I
true.
don't view it as a compliment. I mean, I guess
Well,
it's good to do something really well.
that's true. Yeah.
So I poured all of the creepiness that I have at my disposal sort of into this characterization, and I think it worked out really well.
Well, you know who always played a good creepy guy who was the funniest guy ever? Robin Williams.
He did play a really good creepy guy in some of the feature length films he did,
Yeah.
which the first time he did it, and I can't remember the first one. He played the I don't know the movie where he was a photographer and
Yeah, 1 hour photo.
1
Yeah.
hour photo. Whew.
Yeah.
And that was I So here's what I know about comedy and comics.
Mm.
They all have a little issue in their background or
Yeah.
issues. And I think that people that come across as funny on stage or wherever also tend to be able to do the flip side and play really disturbed people.
Yeah.
So where they're really acting is the comedy, or the comedy is an escape from whatever's bothering them. And a lot of them have real issues, and that when they do serious, creepy, scary stuff, that's maybe more like the real them. I don't know what that says about me. I mean, I've been a horror fan,
Yeah.
like my whole life.
I love doing horror films.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it, but it's just fun.
It is fun. I mean, it's I if I had to choose to do two things for the rest of my life, it would be comedy and horror.
Yeah.
Screw the straight drama, screw mystery, screw superhero action stuff. It'll be comedy and horror if that's
Absolutely.
what I had to choose. It's kind of a weird combo, but
It is, but that's mine too. I love it. I know my two favorites. Really weird, isn't it? It's
it is
good.
weird. We're all weird, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. I'll love any horror movie, and I love comedies. Those are my favorites by far.
Yep,
So.
I pretty much agree with you. I mean, I don't, sometimes the horror can be, and I'll tell you what, bad horror, really bad, stinky horror, is better than bad comedy.
That's
If
true.
it's bad comedy and it doesn't make you laugh, even no matter how bad it is, it's just garbage. But really bad horror, like Plan 9 from Outer Space is the
Yeah.
classic, or Tammy and the T-Rex. It's just so bad. It turns into a comedy. They
Yeah.
weren't trying to do that.
That's why those comedy horrors just kind of mixed that way.
Yeah, yeah, they're really good. That's one of the things. One of the things we're trying to do with the pilot is it's it's horror, almost like Twilight Zone type stuff, but way
Comedy
more
in it.
comedy inserted as a, I don't know, a relief valve, I guess.
Yeah, that's good though. That seems to work for a lot of horror fans.
Yeah,
So
and some of my favorite horror movies, big screen, big budget horror movies, have a bunch of one-liners in them that just crack me the hell up. They don't have to
man,
be funny throughout, but some of them are just great. Where you know,
I
in that,
think one movie that kind of started that for the most part was Scream. The original Scream kind of was very funny, but very also
I think
hard.
Scream really brought it into the mainstream. There were some really old films that I can
Yeah.
think of that did have a couple funny lines in it,
Yeah.
but it was almost like they were testing the waters. And
Hmm.
it worked. It worked historically. The one I love, one of my favorite films is Night of the Creeps,
Oh,
and that had a couple really funny scenes in it, really funny lines. Great dialogue was great, and that predates Scream. But I think
yeah.
Scream
Yeah.
made
Mainstream.
it
Yeah.
into a completely acceptable, and everybody was like, "Wow, this is a big budget film, and it's got real moments of terror, but it's also funny."
Yeah.
And then more movies started after. Scream is definitely landmark in that regard. But
True.
I think some people were testing the waters before that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even like Saturday the 14th. It's kind of like
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just a goof.
comedy.
Like,
Yeah. Goof. It's a goof comedy, but that
goof
was like
thing.
right before those goof comedies kind of
That's
like hit
very
big.
old. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a very old one. I don't remember when that was made.
So what's next for this film, Vagary? Is it going to be a bunch of fests coming up? Do you know, or
It's been in some.
Mhm.
It's won some stuff. We've had other nominations. I think we have 5 at Brightside.
Something like that?
Uh,
Yeah, like get it like kind of gets in the short film, but also the horror genre too.
Or do
So
you have a best
different.
short, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
best horror, best actor, best actress.
yeah. So it gets into all the horror. It
Yeah,
hits all the horror points that you need to hit for that kind of stuff. So it
I
works. And
know,
it's
and
only
I
6 minutes, you know.
but I urge everyone to go see it at
Yeah,
the live screening at
yeah,
Brightside, because I know that I know at least 2 of the other movies I've seen from postings on social media and stuff. They're fierce competition
yeah.
for us, because they're all really good horror flicks, at least. I don't know the other movies that were submitted.
We always seem to do good in the horror and the comedy realm, you know. Yeah. And then there's always like an insane drama that's so good, it's like ridiculous.
Our studio, we have a drama. It's a feature length drama that's coming out that is not funny.
No,
it's very, very serious and intense drama, and I think it's going to do very well. We're doing some final touches to the sound mixing, so I mean, I'll be submitting that once that becomes available and complete. But that's probably a stretch for us because there's like almost no comedy in it. The only other feature length we've done as a studio has been an outright comedy, like just a ridiculous, absurd comedy, which did well, and we're trying to get that. We're working on distribution for that, but this is very different. So, we'll see. It's not script and actors is pretty much what makes the difference between any of these genres.
True.
It's not so much the camera work. It's not, it's not so much your locations or any of that. It's you got to have, and maybe not every comedy writer can write a drama script. Maybe some of them are able to write both, but not everybody can.
No, absolutely. So yeah, definitely script and the acting definitely helps out quite a bit for that. Absolutely. So do you have anything else you want to promote?
Well, no, we have these things. We will probably release the pilots that we're making for DC Universe, and they have 2 of them pretty much in the can. We got a third one that we haven't even started filming yet. We may release those if they pass on picking them up as a series. We'll probably release those on film festivals under the New Media Comedy banner, and then we have this other feature length drama, which is due to, I don't know, I'm hoping within a month I'll be able to start putting it in festivals, called Syzygy. We don't have any plans yet. Well, we kind of have one script on the back burner. Larry given me a script. It's a little bit longer, about 15 minutes, but there was a bunch of people. It was like a cast of 10 or 12. And so we put that one on the back burner when COVID happened and filmed this one instead. So if he's up for it, I'm hoping that Larry and Happy Smile Films and New Media Comedy will be able to co-produce that one. That'd be another horror movie, by the way.
Cool.
And now that things are softening up, so there's a lot to do. I think things are going to explode with filming.
Absolutely soon, right?
The second half of July.
So I'll see you soon, at least, or talk to you soon. And thanks for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
I got to put a couple of these together, and I'll put them up on our Facebook page and the web page and all that in a few days.
And I'll see you in person in August at Brightside. Great,
sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
So we're here with the Haven Project for the Brightside Tavern Film Festival, and you guys we'll go around from top to bottom. You want to say what you did on the project? Do you want to start, Keza?
Do we start with roles or just?
Yeah. Talk about what you did on the project. Yeah.
All right. So I play a student, track runner, and dancer in the Heavens Project.
Okay. And Erica, you.
I'm Erica Lynn Jolly. I did a lot. I wrote, directed, and played Natalie in the Haven Project.
Okay. And Layla?
My name is Layla Mandel, and I did the majority of the editing for the Haven Project.
Okay. How did this project come about? You said, Erica, you wrote it, and how did you come about with this project here?
Yeah, so this project came about because I had been working on a script for a feature film, also called The Haven Project, and I was trying to get the money to make that film, and it just wasn't coming together, but I was really just in love with the story and in love with the project and the characters, so I thought it would be a fun idea to make a short film out of it, to get to kind of give the plot and the characters and everything a test run, kind of get to know them on a more intimate level and see them on screen. So I believe I shot this film, I think 2 summers ago almost, in summer 2019.
So before the whole pandemic, so you're able to do everything?
Pandemic happened, exactly, yep. No, it was kind of crazy to think about, actually, because in some scenes we had over 100 people sitting in a room, which isn't anything I would even imagine doing right now. But no, it's really crazy, the amount of people who are involved in everything. So yeah, that's kind of how this project came about.
And how was the casting project? They cast them in the film?
Oh, it was a really, really long and difficult process. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I usually use casting websites like Backstage to get the majority of my cast, and I was holding video auditions with self-tapes and everything. And I originally went through and looked at like everyone's headshots and reels, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are just so many great actors who are submitting. Yeah, so then after that, I picked like my top 2 to 3 actors for every part, and I set up like FaceTime meetings with them to kind of get to meet them in person. Because for me, half the battle of casting is picking one who can actually act and two who can play the part well, and then the other 50% is like who I get along with and who I think will get along with my crew and my team in general, because there are just so many great actors out there. It's just kind of a matter of finding who you want to work with and who you want to be part of your team. So it's definitely a long and very, very difficult process, lots of difficult decisions, but I am very happy with the decisions that I made, and everyone did an amazing job, and I was so happy with how it came out.
And you're an actress too, so so you kind of do it all?
And, yes, I do kind of do it all.
What's all of your backgrounds in acting, if you all want to go around and talk about your acting experiences?
Yeah, for sure. So I think I first decided that I wanted to act when I was 11 or 12. It was after I saw the Star Wars prequels. And I decided that I wanted to act. And I told my parents, and they were like, absolutely not. There is no way you're doing that. You're going to go to college and do this, this, and this. So then, of course, me being me, I decided like, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong and show you that I like can actually act and make a career out of this. So I took like my nice little middle school portrait and made a resume out of my middle school theater and dance credits and put them up on a couple of casting websites. And I surprisingly got some auditions, but it wasn't really anything that I found interesting or challenging. So that's kind of how I got into the filmmaking aspect of things. I wanted to start writing the roles that I wanted to play as an actor. The first thing I ever did as a director, I actually did with Layla. It was a 15-episode web series based on the Percy Jackson books. And I directed that and also acted in it as the female lead. And that was the first thing that I really had as a lead actor. And it was super exciting for me. Still to this day, one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on. That was also how I kind of fell in love with the whole filmmaking process. And since then, I've kind of been doing a mix of directing and acting. So I've been doing a bunch of short films since then. Some of them I'll just focus on directing, and some like I'll direct and act in. Some of them I'll just act in and bring on someone else as a director. So I've kind of been doing a mix. I can't decide which one I like better, acting or directing. I really like doing a mix of both, but
you might never decide, because we do a lot of us at these festivals do everything too. So I've been a SAG actor for a long time, and I'm a film director, and I'm a teacher. I teach high school film, so you know, background in all different stuff. So it's and run a million film festivals. So
that's awesome.
But anyway, so Keza, what about your acting background?
When I was little, I always wanted to act so much. So I always like pretend I was like on TV and like, oh my God, I'm Kaz and I'm on TV acting and reenacting scenes from a lot of like Disney shows, Nickelodeon shows. Then I started going to Blue Lux here to take some acting classes, and then I started doing some theater productions with Mockingbird, One Sun's Island, and I did Drive Chaperone in virtual at least, which we were going to do it, but the pandemic happened. So that's how I started acting.
And then how did you get this role?
I was looking for some film work because my stage, my stage work, or like my stage roles. Sorry if I got a little mixed up or something.
Well, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's stage. Well, yeah, so you have the theater background and you wanted to
Yeah.
work towards film, right? So,
Mhm.
that's great. And then you saw an advertisement, or you knew them, or
I saw like a casting thing for like a short film, and then I started auditioning for it, and then I got it.
that's great. Yeah. What about you, Layla? She said that Erica said that you guys worked before.
Yeah, so okay, when I was like 8, I think like everybody, I was like, I'm going to be a child actor. Like, I'm going to be so good. I don't know why, because I was so bad at acting. So, very glad that I just stopped that where it was. But yeah, so I took a few classes at Boston Casting, and I went to a few auditions, but I was never like good at it. But I saw Erica's casting call for the Percy Jackson web series that she had put up on Backstage, and I was like, this is it. I'm gonna do it. And I auditioned, and surprisingly I did not get the role because clearly like not a good actor. But then I was like, you know what, I have some background in editing, and it's kind of like, it's less of a sought after role, I feel like, sometimes in the industry. Like, not that it's hard, it's a harder skill to find. So I was like, okay, this might be more useful. And so yeah, I'm like very self-taught in editing. I use Premiere.
Yeah, that's what I teach.
Yeah, nice. And I'm like, I'm self-taught, so every time like I'm learning more and more, I'm like, oh, because Premiere is so like, there's so much depth to it that you can never fully like, you never fully know all the extent to what you can actually create there.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I edited for Erica for the Percy Jackson web series, and then I've kind of also made some of my own short films. I do want to go to school for directing and filmmaking, but yeah, I'm always very impressed by what Erica pulls out because she's very ambitious, and so she'll be like, I'm going to get like 200 extras or 100 extras, and I'm like, okay, that's way too much for me. I'm so glad I will just be doing the editing. But yeah, it's been really fun.
That must be a pretty big set with all those people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
The process of this film here, the whole thing, like on set, how did that go for you in the directing and the acting at the same time?
Yeah, it was definitely a big challenge. I made this when I was still in high school. This was my junior summer going into my senior year, and I was still very much learning, and I still am now, but I hadn't really thought about how big of a challenge it would be to like act and direct. It was kind of just, okay, like this is my story, I'm obviously going to direct it, and like, oh, I like this character, so I'm obviously going to act in it because I wrote it and I like her. But I hadn't really taken a minute to stop and think, okay, acting and directing at the same time is really, really hard. It actually went surprisingly well, and I would say that was mainly for 2 reasons. So one of them is because I had such a great team of people who I knew really well and trusted so much to give me feedback on my performance while I was on camera, because we were shooting on such a tight schedule that I didn't have time to go and play back and watch all of the footage as we went along. And since I was playing a pretty big role in the film, there were very few scenes where I wasn't physically in it, where I got to sit behind the camera and watch. So it was really valuable to have someone else's feedback who I really trusted on my performance while I could direct the other actors as well. And also at the same time, it's really easy for me as a director to kind of vocalize exactly what I wanted from each of the actors and what I wanted for the film visually, because I had been, like I mentioned before, I had been writing the feature script for this project, so I knew all of the characters and the plot and everything on this like really deep, intimate level. So it was kind of just easy for me to take that and put it into the short film. Yeah.
And do you go to school now for film and acting and TV and all that?
Yeah, I do. Right now I'm at Tufts University, and I'm double majoring in film studies and economics, which is a really interesting combination. That's what everyone tells me, but I'm
the
really
business side of filmmaking.
exactly. It's not that strange to me, but other people seem to think it is. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm also super excited because Layla just got into Tufts and she just graduated high school and she's going to be joining me next year.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'll see Erica.
So are you guys going there now? Is it not online anymore? Or are you actually
no,
going to
it's
go?
not. Yeah, I was in person all of last year as well. So
Oh, you were? Okay, yeah. Some were, some weren't. I mean, we were at my high school. We were, but some it was half kids were there, half not. But now we're fully back. So it was weird because like the last week of school, the last week we were like all fully back, and it was weird. It was like out of nowhere. It was like you're all back. And we're like what? So, but now it's summer, so yeah. So now that it is summer, are you working on any projects? Any of you working on any projects at all this summer? Because it's starting to come back. People are working now. Are any of you working on anything right now?
Yeah, I've been actually really insanely busy, busier than I've ever been. In the past month, I've done 3 projects just as an actor. I have been working on another feature film, not the Haven Project. I've been working on it since quarantine started. I am on draft number 9 of the script, and I am out there pitching to producers and investors. I'm on probably at least 5 to 10 calls every week, which is crazy. And I just finished shooting a proof of concept short for that feature film. We were shooting in New Hampshire for 2 days a couple of weeks ago. And right now, I'd say my focus as a filmmaker for the rest of the summer before I go back to school is kind of just working on a new short film and finding new people in the New England area to collaborate with.
Oh, well. And what about the two of you? Kez, are you working on anything right now?
I just, a few months ago, I just did a justice project for Wheelock Family Theater. And I also did some stuff for Nickelodeon. And I have some upcoming, film that I have, and I don't know when it's gonna premiere. So
that's cool.
And I'm also doing some auditions, and I'm hoping to get called back.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So everyone's working on things this summer. Yeah, Nickelodeon. I know a lot of old Nickelodeon stars from back in the day, like all growing up now, obviously. But I was in this business when I was a kid too, so I know a lot of those people from a long time ago. You know, I actually auditioned for all that.
What?
I did when I was a kid. I was one of the first to audition for all that. I didn't get it, but I was Keenan and Kel were there, and I was like, they got it, and I did, and I was like, oh well, what are you gonna do? And then I didn't act after that. but I remember that I was in Florida doing all that for Nickelodeon. They had that big huge studio in Florida then. It's a long time ago. It was a long time
My
ago.
mind is blown right now.
It was a long time ago, but I remember auditioning for that, and I actually also did Family Double Dare when that show was on too.
Oh, okay.
So it was so long ago. But so Layla, what about you? Are you editing any projects or working on anything or writing even or preparing for college?
Not currently, although if anyone needs any editing, I'm always down. I worked really hard last summer and last fall, because I was applying to college, so just getting portfolios ready. So I'm kind of just taking a break from that right now, focusing more on, I do a lot of activism work, so I feel like that's taking over more. And yeah, but I'm always down to edit for anybody. So yeah.
Great. Anything that you guys want to promote or talk about, or any Instagram or whatever, any kind of websites or for people to go to if you just want to promote? If you want to start, Keza, if any or anything, promote anything.
Yeah, you should definitely follow us and our production company at dreamers.entertainment on Instagram. You'll find a bunch of promotional stuff for the Haven Project and all of our upcoming films, as well as casting information. So super exciting, and you can keep up with us that way. And we also we're on Twitter and Facebook, so you can keep up with us that way too.
Anything you guys want to add?
Would I be able to put a link in the chat?
Yeah, put a link in the chat. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
And then I'll put it up there when I put the thing on. So right now the chat, because we're recording it, it's not live, but I could do that, and I can add any links up there. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna be editing a bunch of these. I have a bunch, and like you said, everyone's so busy. I've been going crazy with stuff, and I'm actually on a film set tomorrow. So I'll eventually get this stuff up there, and I have to release the college nominations as well, and then this one, because I guess you put it in other categories and I wasn't paying attention, and we put it in the regular and all that stuff, and there's a million college films this time around, so we don't have this many.
I guess it worked out well. So.
Yeah, it worked out well. So you got some nominations there, and we'll see with the other one as well, the acceptance. So how was working on acceptance?
Yeah, that was great. That was something that I actually did during quarantine last summer. I was really just wanting to do any kind of film whatsoever, no matter how small. And doing something big like the Haven Project was totally out of question. So I wrote this script that you could kind of really shoot with just one actress. And that's how I started writing that. And this time, I would say my biggest goal with the project was to focus more on the visuals, because like I said with Haven Project, it was kind of more difficult since I was on camera to be watching from behind camera without being able to play everything back. But this time I wasn't acting at all, so I could sit over the camera the entire time and watch and kind of give feedback that way. And it was really exciting being able to just be a director instead of acting and directing at the same time. And that was kind of the first time that I realized, why do I make myself do so much and act and direct at the same time? It's just so much easier to just focus on acting or just focus on directing. But for a really, really small, low-budget film that was shot during quarantine with one actress, I actually was really, really happy with how it came out. And I was so impressed with our actress's performance. And I'm really excited for it to be screened at the festival.
Yeah, so we're going to be on, the students are on July 31st, and then we actually have the Haven Project with all the other films on the 1st of August, all day long, films all day long at the place in Jersey City. It's a lot of fun, so if you can make it, if you can't, oh well, but if you can make it, it'll be a fun time. A lot of filmmakers. This is like the hub of like New York filmmakers and New Jersey filmmakers, and people from even LA are probably coming in too.
All right.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for joining me. Yep, good to meet you.